The 153. What we want to show there is rebuilding the 196, taking it apart, replacing the 195, the spring inside, 193, and the 194 check valve. Okay, if we want to put that assembly together or take it off, anytime removing any of this, any of these three parts, or this 195 off, you need to hold this lower portion that has this nut on here for a reason. That nut needs, I hold it with a small crescent wrench, nice and tight, when I use a screwdriver bladed on the end. What I do to put it together would be just snug it, partial turn tight. Okay, that should be tight enough to seal it. Now, if you don't use the crescent wrench down here to hold this nut, taking this off, the 195 off, or putting it on, what you're going to have a problem is, I don't care who made the lantern, Germans or not, you're going to crack this tube. This gets soft, it gets old. Actually, what happens is the brass wears over years. Fuel is like an acid, it's going to eat off the brass. And if you go trying to take it off when it's really tight, especially old, you're going to flex that tube, you're going to put a little crack in here. You're going to rebuild it, put it back together like a lot of people do. You're going to pressurize it, and it's still going to leak out of the top. You're going to say, I replaced all that bright light, and it's not working. I replaced it. Well, the problem you did is you put a crack in here. If it's old, you won't see it. Even in this, you wouldn't see it. So what I do is take a piece of sandpaper, shine this up, and when you do, if you've rebuilt it and you still have a leak coming out of the top, take your sandpaper, run it on the tube back and forth, really nice till you shine this thing up. When you do, you're going to find a crack. And why you'll find the crack is the sandpaper is going to clean all the smooth surface off. Where the crack is, it's going to leave it dirty. And you'll see a line right in it. And that's hard to solder back up. Usually you have to replace the 153. It's a lot easier than trying to solder the crack back up. But remember, anytime taking that apart, hold it with a good crescent wrench. Then break it loose to get this apart. Turn it with your fingers. That way you're not twisting this and ending up breaking it, or you're going to end up cracking it, believe me. Putting too much pressure on it, you're going to crack it. That's the 153, taking a 195, 3 and 4 off.